What's up, gang? How you guys doing? I'm Lt Sal Blue, 28-year law enforcement veteran and the author of the top 25 mistakes en route to the good life. Coming at you on my daily podcast. That's right, man. You guys haven't seen me in the studio for about a week. Man, I'm in and out of the studio. Lots of times I'm in my car doing my thing, man. And I actually haven't figured out how to convert the videos in my car to a format that I'm going to be able to use, but I'll get them all out. So you'll see all the episodes that you missed that have audio with them with video. So I'm here, I'm rocking and rolling, I'm doing my thing, and I'm hustling hard, and I'm hustling hard for the reason, unlike what most people think, right? People think like you're hustling hard to get ahead or whatever, with the premise that if you continue to hustle hard, you'll get ahead. And that's not what I'm doing, guys. What I'm actually doing is I'm hustling so that I can generate enough activity to create luck, right? To create luck. And luck is, as you guys have learned, the acronym of luck is laboring under correct knowledge. That's right. And the correct knowledge is luck comes to those who work hard, right, at doing the right thing the correct way. And so what people see as luck is actually just people creating opportunities for themselves through their hard work, through their smart work, through correct action that they're taking. So I'm doing my thing, man. I'm out there and I'm hustling and I'm making it happen. And so I believe 100% that it is all going to work out the right way. And the right way is me. I'm talking financial freedom for myself. That's what I want. I'm not looking to be a billionaire or anything like that. I mean, if it just happens to begin to flow that way, then so be it. But I'm looking for financial freedom, not just for myself, but for my family and the next generation of Sal Blues, right? The next generation of blues. So we're going to make it happen for them, and we're going to continue to work. We're going to work 365 days of the year. That is my plan right now. Okay. Somebody told me that winners don't take a break from winning. They just keep winning, right? So if they keep winning, that means that 365 days a year, they need to be working at something. Now, even when you see people in their vacation and they're chilling and they're doing stuff like that, right? A lot of times the people that are vacationing, their business is actually doing better with them not there as opposed to them being there. And that is like a strong power, something I really want to work towards, right? I want to work towards being able to make a profit and not have to have my hands on everything every step of the way, right? Because trust me, I don't know everything, and I don't assume to know everything, and I don't act like I know everything. And then that way I can continually learn and grow. And that's what you guys need to do when it comes to creating habits. You got to create the habit of always being open to knowledge, always being open to growing. And that's what you guys will, when you do this, that is when you begin to achieve the most, when you get the most out of your life. But anyway, you can't do that, guys, if you're playing with a stacked deck, right? You can't do that if you're playing with a stacked deck. And that is kind of what I'm talking about today. I'm talking about us playing with a stacked deck. Now, if any of you guys who play poker, play cards, whatever, blackjack, spades, pacino, whatever, I don't know all the card games. But if any of you guys play cards, you know that when the deck is stacked, it's usually stacked in the house's favor. It's very rarely stacked in your favor. So 9 times out of 10 you will lose, and the 1% of the time that you win, if you continue on, you will get back your winnings. So you got to know when to fold them, and you got to know when to hold them. That's right, man. So the question of today, guys, hopefully to invoke tons of thought and stimulation in your guys' minds is the question of the day is, why are you trying to win while someone else is dealing the cards? Yes, that's right. So I already told you guys, listen, when you are playing cards and someone else is dealing, they're the ones in control. They're the ones in charge. They're calling the shots, guys. So if they're calling the shots, then the problem is this. You, right, can't really control the ebbs and the flows of the game because it is in the dealer's hands, man. It is in the dealer's hands. I know enough card analogies for now, man, but that is what I'm talking about, guys. See, what I learned, right, over time is that we are often deceived in life, right? We're deceived in life when we believe we are given a choice, right? There are so many times in life that I thought I was given a choice, right? I thought I was given a choice between you can either go to the left or you can either go to the right, right? You know, and me being stubborn, I say, no, I'm going straight, right? I'm going straight. And I believed that that was my choice, right? And so I have gone into situations in my life, right? Way too bold, far too bold, because I believed that I was in control of that situation, right? When the truth is, guys, when the truth is that I was actually a puppet in that same situation that I felt that I had total and complete control over. I was a puppet, man. I was being used, okay, and I was being manipulated. And so being used and manipulated, guess what? Man, somebody gives you options so that you're not all fighting along the way, but they already know that if you feel like you made a choice, you give things your full energy and you give things your full cooperation. What they do is they eliminate, right, that doubt in your mind. See, we have a tendency to go against what we are told, right? But we go all in, full out, even if it's wrong, into things that we choose. So that is the difference, man. Choice is the power that you don't have, that you think you have, that allows someone else to gain advantages in life. So pay attention to that very closely, man. Pay attention to that very closely, especially when you are faced with choices and situations that you aren't the one who you really truly believe is making the choice in the situation. I don't want you guys to fall into that. This is what we're working with today, man. We're working on giving you guys the knowledge to move forward and make things happen in your life. Now, in those situations, right, where I was a puppet, right, so that you guys recognize, right, I want you guys to recognize this, that I was given a choice in those situations, right? And that choice was between the lesser of two evils most of the time, right? Because either choice, right, either choice serves the person that was actually in control, the person that was dealing the cards, see? Because the lesser of two evils, it's not really a choice, is it? Right? The lesser of two evils is you just want to stay in the game. And because I wanted to stay in the game, I chose the lesser of two evils in order to continue to stay in the game. But in staying in the game, the person who was dealing the cards was still gaining. They were still having the advantage. They were still ahead, right? And I was at no time ever was I going to be getting ahead or even further than what they were, okay? And this wasn't obvious to me at the time that I was going through this, right? As I told you guys, I was bold and I thought I was in control. I thought I was calling shots, and I wasn't. So it was painfully unobvious, or I was painfully oblivious to the fact that I was not in control when I was choosing the lesser of two evils, right? They just put both of them in a nice bow and made one bow just bigger than the other one, right? So when I pulled on it and I was happy, thinking I made a great choice, listen, in actuality, it was the choice that they wanted me to make all along, man. So I understand that, guys. I now understand it. I want you to understand it, right? And so in life, this actually occurs when people see that you're passionate about something, right? When I was drawn into that situation, the individual saw that I was passionate about something, and so what they did was they used my blind emotion, okay, to gain compliance out of me, to do things to their favor, right? Blind emotion is the kind of the worst thing you could ever feel, right? You know, you're so behind a cause that you're running there, okay, fully blazed, okay, with no direction. And that person sees that, so they use that, like in judo and martial arts, they use that to direct you to direction that they would like you to go in, using that full force and energy, not to block you, right? Which most people think that if somebody's coming at me full force, I'm just gonna block them. But no, right? They use that, okay, and they take you on a full journey, a full flow journey that lets you totally, completely allow your emotions to come all out and go right directed toward that effort that they want. And that is the power of dealing the cards, man. And you don't know that when you're just a player in the game, right? You don't know that when you're just a player in the game. You're being used, man. You're being used, and I was being used, and my full, all out energy, some of the best years of my life were used by someone else who was dealing the cards, man. So understand that my full emotion and my passion was being used to benefit somebody else, right? Now, when these people see this, right, when they see the passion, right, and my blinded emotion, this is their opportunity. Listen, they light up, man. This is their opportunity to use my energy to their benefit. And that's what they did. They used the energy that I had to benefit themselves. And that's how people are often used in life, in all levels of life, man. It doesn't really matter where you're at or what you're doing, whether you're at the bottom of the wealth triangle or whether you're trying to work your way up to the top of the wealth triangle. If you're at the top of the wealth triangle, you already know this. And you're probably using this technique to stay at the top of the wealth triangle. So understand that, man. They use it to benefit themselves. Now, and when they benefit themselves, this can be anything from strengthening their current position or where they're at, right? The people at the top of the wealth triangle, as I told you. Or they can use your energy and efforts, and this is amazing right here, man. You will not believe it. They use your energy and effort to destroy their competition, right? To destroy their competition, all in the name of your passion. All in the name of your passion. They redirect all of your energy, whether it's anger, whether it's passion, whether it's love, whatever it is, they direct it, okay, and they focus it on their enemy. They focus it on their competition. So they use you, okay, to try to break down and destroy their enemy, when the fact of the matter is, when their enemy looks back, they don't see the person who actually tried to break them down or tried to destroy them. All they see is you, man. So understand that when you are being used and when you are in a game where you're not dealing the cards, man. Now, as I said before, the reason why they use others instead of showing force themselves, right? Because everybody's like, well, why would they use me when they could just go in there and probably crush people themselves? Well, the truth is, the reason why they use you or other people, right, instead of using force themselves, is that when you're in a position of power, right, and although you may be able to crush people easily in order to continue to take over, continue to rule, continue to get what you want, but when you show your force and you're in a position of power, what it usually causes is just resentment, right? It causes resentment in the people that you are controlling, and that resentment, right, is slowly but surely, it's like a cavity. It erodes at your position of authority. So when people have resentment towards you and you're in power, right, slowly but surely, like a cancer, it eats away at the position that you have, right? So you have a much less commanding force if you directly go up against, right, your competition or people that you are trying to get to do things on your behalf for you, the things that you want to do. So understand that if you guys make it to that place where you are in charge, right? Just because you get there, man, doesn't mean that you should be using that power just to continue to dominate and control. So understand that. So if winning with someone else's cards, right? If winning with somebody else's cards, if it's not the ideal route to your success, then how? And that's the question, guys. How can you operate with a different deck? Because, right, you still want to win. You still want to win regardless, right? So now you want to figure out how can you begin to operate with a different deck of cards, right? How can you change the deck? How can you change it? So now, if you have been given consistent value, like in a company or in a relationship, whatever you're doing, right? Whatever the type of relationship it is, if you're giving consistent value to others, I suggest you do what I did to gain control, right? To gain control in my company and in the relationships that I've dealt with because I gave consistent value. What I used was a technique that I like to call the withdrawal method, right? The withdrawal method or withdrawal tactic, however you want to phrase it. Either way, it's me pulling back, right? It's me pulling back, right? And what I did is I pulled back myself and my services, and I pulled them away, okay, to show the person that was dealing the deck or was currently in charge that things will fall apart if I wasn't around. Now, the reason why this worked for me is because even though it was that person's deck and they were pulling the strings for a very long time, I made it a point to totally and completely and intricately get myself involved so deep into everything that they were doing, right, that if I pulled out myself and my services, then like a deck of cards, it would just all fall apart. So I made sure that I really got into there, gained trust to everybody and learned all of the things that truly made these businesses operational. So I made sure that if I pulled out, things would not run as smoothly for that person. Now, what this tactic did, guys, during this time, it allowed me to return, right, after my brief withdrawal and dictate my terms, right? Terms that were more favorable to me. And you can do that as well, man, if you're in business or whatever you're trying to do, right? You're trying to dominate your area, dominate your game. You gotta dictate terms that are favorable to you. Terms that keep you in power. Terms that continually give you the advantage. Because if not, then why play the game in the first place if you're never going to be able to move up the ladder, if you're never going to be able to get to the top, right? So what happens is I obviously force the hand of the person dealing the cards. I force the hand of others, and that's what you have to do. But by doing it, I didn't do it by force. I didn't do it by force, right? I did it by indirectly making them believe that they had a choice in the matter, right? They could either let me stay away, or they can continue on a successful journey with me in a position, okay, with terms that were better suited for me, terms that were better for me to take advantage of my life, right? So understand that. Now, you will learn, guys, right, that when someone is doing good due to your efforts, right, when you are helping somebody to grow their business, when you're helping somebody in life, right, and they're doing good, right, and they know deep down in their heart, maybe they didn't even acknowledge you, but they know deep down in their heart that they're doing good due to your efforts, trust me, they would rather give in to your terms, guys. They would rather give in to your terms than do bad, then do bad, right? Or decline from the position that they are currently in. That's just how people are, right? That when they're up, they want to stay up. Everybody wants to stay up, man. And if they're up there because of you, and you decide to back off, and they start to see a slight decline, and you come back in, and it brings them back up to the top, trust me, you're going to be able to dictate your terms, man. You're going to be able to dictate your terms. So understand that and know that, right? Now, here's the deal. When I was being drawn into someone else's cards, and being dealt the hand that they chose, what I realized, and this was far too late, was that they used words that played on my emotions. And I'm going to give you these key words that people use. And you really need to pay attention to these words, because when these words are used, right, what these words do is they're used to evoke the power of possibility, right? That it's a possibility for you, as opposed to actually giving you power, guys, as opposed to it. So some of the words that they use are words like choice, right? The choice is yours, man. This is your choice. And they use these words, and when we feel like we have the choice, then we feel like we're in charge. We feel like we're in power, right? When they use other words like freedom, you have the freedom to. You have the freedom to do this and the freedom to do that. They use these words to draw you in, to make you feel like you're calling the shots. Freedom. They use the word freedom frequently. And the last thing is options. When they start telling you have options, most of the time, these options are set up and favorable to the person that has the cards, to the person that's dealing the cards. So freedom, choice, and options are frequently used, are frequently thrown around, but all of these came with limitations, guys. Always came with limitations. And understand, right? We do need limitations. In life, we do need limitations. If you guys have not noticed this, right? If somebody gives you unlimited options, what usually happens with most people, right? They freeze. They don't do nothing. They can't make a choice, right? When you have so many options and you think that every single one of those options are winners, you usually don't move not one bit, right? You just freeze right then and there, right? You're like, oh my God, I have too many options. I can't figure out what to do next. And that's what happens to most people. So understand that, right? Because here you go. The truth is, we do need limitations, because too many choices will paralyze us, right? Too many choices will paralyze us. But here are a few ways, right, to use this to your advantage, right? Here are a couple of ways to use this to your advantage, because at the end of the day, man, I want you guys to have your cards. I want you guys to be dealing the cards in the deck, and I want you guys to be calling your shots to the best of your ability, right? And trust me, you need to up your skills so you have plenty of ability to be calling shots, and so that if you make it up to the top, you can stay up there as long as possible and enjoy an extraordinary life the best way you can. So I'm gonna give you about 4, maybe 5 options of how to do this and make the most out of your life before I wrap this up for today, okay? Now, so when you are stacking the deck in your favor, when you are dealing the cards, right, one of the things that you guys need to do is you always need to give the person colorful choices, right? You always need to give them colorful choices, right? And those colorful choices have to have the elements that I told you, man. Freedom, choice, right? Options, okay? And you make all of those choices look good based on the individual who you are putting it out to, the individual that you need to help you to get ahead, to help you to grow, to help you to succeed, to help you to have an extraordinary life. You're putting out these good choices to them, right? And in these choices, right, they come with benefits, right? But understand this is the kicker. The best benefit of all of those choices, the one that looks the most, that is the most colorful, the brightest color, is always the one that benefits you. That's right. At the end of the day, the only choice that matters is the choice that you want them to make. So you got to color that the best choice out of all of them. Okay, so use that technique and that works for you, right? Another technique to use is obviously, right, you have a couple of people that always are going against the grain, right? I know when I was a lieutenant, I had people that loved going against the grain. If I said this was the rules, they tried to do opposite. If I said you should do it this way, they tried to do it that way. They always, wanted to go against the grain. So I learned a technique that I use, and it always worked with these people because they felt that they were so strong-willed. So I used that against them, right? I just played the opposite side of people's emotions. I played the opposite side of people's emotions, okay, by number one, pushing their choices to what I wanted by, guess what, advocating the opposite of what I wanted. I hate to say it, but I use this with my children. I use this with people who worked under me. I just advocated the opposite, right? I didn't try to force it on everybody, right? I just used that psychology, and it worked like gangbusters, man. It works like gangbusters. Most people are still children inside anyway, so you can use this and it'll work to your advantage, trust me. Play the opposite side. The next powerful thing that I used was I changed the playing field, right? If someone was used to operating under a certain way, right, I just changed the entire game altogether so that it was a unwinnable game for them. And no matter what choice and what thing that they did, it was all winnable for me, man. So changing the game, changing the playing field, right? So that they have to do what you want if they want to stay in the game, right? The entire game, if they want to continue to play, they had to play it my way. So that's another way, changing the game altogether. I only did that if I had to do it, if I was forced to do it, and I really needed compliance. I just changed the game altogether, guys. So understand that. That is also powerful. One of the things that I do in business, guys, and I've watched this be done over and over again after I learned it, I watched it be done over and over again in marketing and selling, especially in advertising, right? I shrank people's options, right? Shrinking the options, okay, every moment that they hesitate in making a decision. So when they hesitate to make a decision, I should make the options lower, less and less and less, okay? Whereas eventually they know if they continually hesitate, at the end of the day, they have no options. So they either have to bail out altogether or make a choice. And those reduced options, each reduced option is still to my advantage, right? So shrinking the options is a powerful technique, and it's a psychological that forces people to make quick decisions without thinking about the decisions that they make, which always is to your advantage, man. Always to your advantage. So think about that when you're using a technique where you need to get people to make a decision. And last but not least, guys, and I'm gonna wrap it up here, is brothers in crime, right? Now, and this works when the person that can harm you the most, right? The person that can harm you the most, what you do is you pull them into your scheme, right? If you plotting to do something, you pull them into your scheme, all right, to take over the deck, to take over the game. And if you pull them into your scheme, what usually happens is now they're complicit, right? And when they're complicit, man, you got them, man. You got them. And that is to your advantage, man. That is how it works, man. So listen, man, I'm going to wrap it up for today. But you guys make sure that you hop on over to LtSalBlue.com and pick up your copy of my book, Top 25 Mistakes en Route to the Good Life, right? And also, man, hit me up on social media platform at Lt Sal Blue and let me know if you have a specific topic that you want me to talk about on the podcast, because because I'll talk about those topics and we will knock them out, and we will help you to have the best life possible, a life that you can call the shots. All right, so this is Lt Sal Blue wrapping up. You guys have a great evening, and I will talk to you tomorrow with my daily podcast. All right, deuces, later.